Hello, 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 and welcome to the Kat Mak Show. Thank you so much for joining me, Jenn Ritt. I don't know if it's long for something, but you can tell me that in a second. Where we showcase powerful women that have a story to tell. And we were talking about this just a second ago. Jenn is a hypnotherapist, and she will share her craft and what she does to help you get over your ish, because I dare say there's probably a lot that you can help me with. We were just talking about this a second ago. If we can impact one person in the world, then that is one person more that we could have yesterday. So if there's one person out there that has gotten a takeaway from this show, then I want to hear about it, because I know that we are moving in the right direction. We're here to empower, inspire, to make you do a couple of things: grow, be better. And you know what? So, Jenn, over to you. You're a hypnotherapist and you're in the wellness industry. Talk to me about where it started, why you're doing what you're doing.
I've always had a passion for it started with nutrition and wellness and just researching, all different like alternative methods for all different things and foods. And I was just very obsessed with that. So I got certified in holistic nutrition to obviously be able to help people with the health issues with, so much prominence of like diabetes and cancer and gut health and all of that. And just learning the body processes and how food and, our lifestyle can completely make a big difference in our life. It can heal us. Our bodies have what it takes to heal us naturally. So as I started working with clients, I also started to see the patterns of like our childhood and things that were formed in the memories and a lot of the trauma that our subconscious holds on to. And it doesn't allow us to move forward. Its job is to keep us safe. And so that's what it does. It protects us from taking chances, from taking risks and going out there and, accomplishing our goals or achieving the things we want. So once I started training in hypnosis and hypnotherapy, I weave the two together, the holistic nutrition with the hypnosis, to help women kind of get out of their own way and accomplish their health goals.
So you're right. We do hold on to a lot of stuff from our past. How does it help with healing trauma from the past? So give me an example. What would be an example, please? I know I put you off guard.
I can give you an example. Well, I can give you several examples, but I'll give you a client, example.
That's exactly what I'm doing, because I'm thinking of myself here, right?
Yeah. Yes, I worked with this gentleman who had PTSD for being in the service and who was having a lot of anger issues. He was he was a vet, so he was on they had him on a lot of medications and a lot of antidepressants and that sort of thing. And I worked with him. I just did a couple of sessions with him, and he was able to go back to his childhood, resurface all of those things all those memories and things that had impacted him. And while the PTSD had a big part of it, the main issue for him was what he had experienced in his childhood. And he had several major aha moments around his mother and in his upbringing and the kind of person that he really was, because he was blaming himself for a lot of the things that happened in his childhood, which were not his fault. So he was able to see just what an amazing person he was and the difference that he can make in the world. And I kid you not, we had those sessions and he turned his life completely around. He went to his doctor and he said, "I'm done. I'm getting off all these antidepressants. I'm getting off all this stuff. I want a new life. I want to actually live my life," because he had been a prisoner for so long in all of this. And that is what he did. He got off everything. Wow. And he changed his life. And that was October when we did the sessions. So that's a very short amount of time to come that far.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That is a short amount of time.
Well, I think that it's kind of a two-part question, maybe even more than that. But I think people are so used to kind of being in their patterns and looking at traditional medicine. And, I think everybody's looking for not everybody, but a lot of people are looking for a quick fix, and they think it's a prescription or something. And holistic health is not a quick fix. You have to go to the root cause of what's going on. A lot of times that root cause is here. It's past trauma or memories or patterns and things that you have that you can't, get rid of. Then it's, as well as I do, like with your mom, it's the gut health that, there's no quick fix. You can't just take over the counter stuff and have the problem be fixed. It's your diet, it's your stress levels, it's your hormones, it's all of that factor into it. And it's a process. And not everybody is willing to commit to that process.
What do you do to release your stress?
I
How
do
do
a lot.
you hypnotize yourself and go, okay, well, I've got to.
I do meditate.
Okay.
I very much have, and this is all, learned over the years too. I have a lot more control over my emotions and my mindset and my thinking now. If I start to go down that path of that rabbit hole where I stop it, turn it around, turn it into something positive, plant good seeds.
Yes, those damn seeds. Those seeds.
Yeah.
Those
Plant the good seeds, make sure they're watered and attended to. And I work out, I get good sleep. I like to take a hot bath and read a book. And I eat my alkalizing foods. And so
yeah, the food thing is huge at the moment. And at the moment, it always has been. However, it's more prevalent. What we eat so affects us. And
it does. It affects our moods.
it does. And I'm guilty. I'm sitting here. It's my vice. It is early in the morning here in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm having a triple shot of coffee. However, it's organic, it's a good one, and it's my jam. So it's okay to have some stuff.
It's all balance.
It is all balance. And meditating, it's like yoga. I can't do it. I can't do yoga. I just don't have the patience for it. How do I find patience to do it better?
Well, you just be consistent. Do it every day. Do it as long as you can every day. And you build that muscle. You build that muscle. You build that muscle.
Yeah.
So, but it's just with everything. It's consistency. You can only do 1 minute a day. Do 1 minute a day. And then the next day do 2 minutes. And the next day do 3. And then before you know it.
So for those that fall off the bandwagon, how do you help them back? Because it's like, sometimes I don't do the gym either. I don't have a patience for the gym. However, I'll exercise at home. I love Pilates. So if they fall off the bandwagon, they, as females, we tend to fall off the bandwagon sometimes and we go down that guilty path.
Everybody does. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you going to pull me back? How do you help me? Because sometimes that happens to me and I'm like, shouldn't have done that. And then I start to kick myself.
It's grace and love. It's grace and love and just having that for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And understanding that we are human, we're doing the best that we can. We're all going to screw up and just getting back on, and then, like I said, consistency. Start with 1 minute, work yourself up. Really, we can be so hard on ourselves. And then we spiral into this circle, which does nobody any good. It's just really taking care of yourself and, being kind to yourself.
It is. That's true. And is it okay just to say, you know what, I'm not doing anything today? As solopreneurs, because it can get very lonely online and not, depends on who you're with and who you surround yourself with. Yesterday, I did that exact same thing. I said, you know what, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Well, as solopreneurs too, it tends to be an embodiment of.
But it's not.
It's really, you don't really ever completely shut it off.
No.
It's not like it's not like a 9 to 5 where you walk out the door and you leave it. When you can put it down and relax, it's amazing. You get back up stronger.
Yes, I think it's true that what you said in terms of, doing that stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
The 1 minute, because I'm listening to what you just said earlier. What do you do to relax? Being kind to your body. What you're putting in is what you're going to put out. Go for a walk with your dogs. And we say all this, but why don't we do it? Why?
A lot of times it can be that subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Those blocks.
Yeah.
In any area of our life, we can have that. And that's why, hypnosis can be so effective in building new habits and clearing out all that old stuff.
Yeah.
I have one client that she's an emotional eater and she couldn't control like her binge eating. And then we did a hypnosis session on her and found out that really the issue was just this feeling of lack that she had from her childhood. And this is fascinating, but she remembers when her mom cut her off I'm sorry if this is too much, but when her mom cut her off the breast and she remembered she remembers being that young and being cut off the breast and really wanting that and like missing that connection with her mom, because they're so connected and so her main issue with food was just that she felt if she deprived herself, she was, it was lack. It was that kind of lack mentality of not being able to have something she really wanted. And so when she was able to see that, become aware of it, she realized that if she gave herself what she wanted, she didn't really want it that much, if that makes sense. So she would go and buy the things that she was saying, telling herself she couldn't have, that she craved before, but afterwards she was kind of like, I know it's there. If I want it, I can have it.
Okay, so I'm thinking about that for a second. So let's just I need to hear that again. So when she realized what she thought she wanted, she never really wanted it in the end.
It was
She
just
never really needed
that
it.
memory of, that it was, when you're that young, this is traumatic when you're not getting that, the breast milk and getting what you want and getting your basic needs met, even though they were just differently. But in her mind, she wasn't. And so she formed this belief around, food. So
Interesting. Because
and that's why there's really no one size fits all approach,
no, there isn't. It is, and it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that. Not everyone can do that. It is a real innate talent that you uncover.
Yeah, it's very intuitive for sure.
I believe that you're born with it. I totally believe that you're born with those skills. You just get trained to do them. Yeah, to use them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so cool to be able to heal and help and consistently help. Because things come up. I might need you today for, I'm not a smoker, but, I've never smoked, but to heal my smoking or, relationship crap or PTSD. Yes, I've had PTSD as well. Yeah. And then we can know that we can go back and get consistent help because you might just need it at another time. Everyone's got their area of expertise. That is definitely not one of mine. I can't heal the world. I can make the world smile, but I can't heal the world.
That's a gift. That's very important too. Laughter and smiling,
Yeah,
that's healing as well.
That's the go-to. It's also it's a positive and perhaps not. Because I can definitely used to hide behind my smile. That's where I would just pop my trauma behind my smile. And that's not a great thing either. So if you're out there and you're a smiler and, you don't set boundaries, I'm telling you now, it's going to come back to bite you on the butt if you don't get assistance. I'm glad that I have met you because I know you don't shy away from it.
No. It's I'm a very sensitive person. And so I have to work really hard at putting up the boundaries. And I have to work really hard on just kind of taking care of myself and not letting myself get stressed out and because I take on other people's energy too.
Sometimes, you know what? If it resonates, it resonates. For a long time, I never allowed myself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that was, stuff that a lot of us as females, we carry that baggage. We carry it because we've been conditioned to superhuman.
Yeah, we're so hard on ourselves too. That I think has been a lifetime battle for me too. Just being really hard on myself and not giving, not giving myself grace.
Yeah,
and having really high expectations for myself.
What was your turning moment? How did you flip that around? Where did you draw the line? And you said no.
Actually, it took me. Do you know who Sherry Salata is? I identify with her. She used to work for Oprah for many, many years. She now owns her own business and God bless her. She says the same thing. She was a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer. It took a lot. It took me until I was in like my 50s. And I started really working in hypnosis and working through all this stuff that I started to see, wow, there's another way here. I don't have to live like this.
No.
We grow and expand at like every age, and we keep growing and getting all these new skills and going to the next level, and then we have to deal with the next level and the next level of expansion.
It's actually really exciting.
It is exciting.
It is exciting. And let me tell you, you look fabulous.
Oh, well, thank you. So do you.
You know why? Because we laugh. Laughter cures everything. Laughter keeps youth as well.
It really does. It really does.
So what is one tip you can give, a very simple tip that somebody can take away today and action it to be able to help themselves if they are feeling vulnerable, something, or of lack,
The biggest thing I would take away, and I've said this a few times, is really just, I've said it a few times, having grace for yourself,
Yeah.
honestly, and just trying to be really connected to yourself and aware of your thoughts and your feelings and how connected they are, and aware of your body, and and directing that in the direction you want to go, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it does, because you do have the power. We do have the power.
You do. And you have to realize that if you are focused on all the negative things, in your life or on yourself, that really is the the neuroplasticity of that's what you're going to create in your life.
Yep. You focus on the crap and crap will grow.
Yeah, it does.
My takeaway is 1 minute. If you can only do it for a minute, then just do it for a minute, and then just do it
Yeah,
for two,
yeah,
and then just do it for three,
yeah,
and
yeah.
not being so hard on myself when I don't complete that task. I'm like, it's okay, I've done a minute. Okay, a minute. I'll get up a minute earlier.
And it gradually becomes a habit. 1 minute,
Does.
2 minutes, and then by the end of the year, it's like what? Hours.
I was, like, how did that even happen? Thank you so much for being on. I so appreciate you.
Oh,
We'll
thank
have all
you.
your details down below as usual. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Bye for now.